For centuries, the spring equinox heralded the start of a new year. In fact, it still does in Iran, Turkey, Afghanistan, and throughout Central Asia. It's called Nowruz, which means new day. Hello, my name is Christopher Renstrom, and I'm your horoscope columnist here on Astrology Hub. Aries, as we all know, is the first sign of the zodiac. And the reason it was the first sign of the zodiac is because Aries is the sign connected to the spring equinox. The spring equinox used to be when everyone celebrated New Year's back in the day, but it was changed to January 1st by Pope Gregory XIII, the inventor of the Gregorian calendar, in the 16th century. At that time, he had designated that the start of the year would be January 1st, and word went out through all the papal states. And if you were connected to the papal states, then you knew that this is when the new year began according to the new Gregorian calendar. But if you were not connected to the papal states, you might not have heard that there had been a change in date. We have to remember that they didn't have Twitter back then, so it took a little while for the word to get out. Now, for those people who continue to celebrate New Year's on April 1st, well, they were called fools by those who were in the know, and over time they became the target of practical jokes and pranks, hence the origin of our April Fool's Day. What's interesting to note is that Britain and the American colonies didn't switch their calendars from April 1st to January 1st until the 1750s. The sun is exalted in Aries, and that's a very interesting thing. I mean, first of all, it's exalted in Aries because it was connected to the start of a new year, but exalted means celebrated. It doesn't necessarily mean strongest, okay? Now, for all of us here in the Northern Hemisphere, we know that the sun is strongest when it is in the zodiac sign of Leo. That's when it's very prevalent, it's very hot, days are longest, it's heated, okay? It's a very hot time of year. But to be exalted in Aries means to be celebrated. It's starting out, kind of like the old heroes or young knights who are starting out in their careers or in their heroic feats. It's the idea of the sun being connected to fresh starts and new beginnings, a time when we are to look ahead, when we raise our sights, and when we know that light is triumphing over darkness. Now, this idea of light triumphing over darkness doesn't necessarily mean daylight triumphing over night. We have to remember it's an equinox, so that means equal day, equal night. So that's not the battle that's being fought there. The battle that's being fought is the sun connected to your hope, your achievement of your highest, most noblest aspirations. The sun being connected to the idea of you being true to yourself. This spring equinox is the time when it's being exalted, when it's being celebrated, when it's saying, this is the year. This is the year when it's going to turn around. This is the year when it's going to be great. This is the year when you're going to triumph over your insecurities, when you're going to triumph over your anxieties, and when you're going to triumph over feelings of being persecuted, oppressed, or disenfranchised. This time of the spring equinox, when the sun is exalted, is a time when we can imagine a future without being bound to the past. And this spring equinox, this Nowruz, takes place on March 21st. That starts our new year, and that's when we start our new year, and that's when you start with your new you.